This means war. You know, when there are Nazis and shit, and there's a thing called total war. There's this chick's response, because I told her Jay didn't exist, essentially, and Jesus is a joke, but I didn't go into all of that.
And you spelled his name I-E-S-U-S. So I'm really, really surprised at how few people will actually research how the letter J developed. The sound was already there, but the letter J actually looked like an I. It looked just like the letter I. That was what the J looked like.
So J didn't fucking exist.
How do you pronounce it? J. That word that you wrote, that doesn't spell Yeshua. That spells Jesus. Just like in the old King James Bible, it's I-A-M-E-S. It looks like the letter I because this is how it was developed.
I'm not sure if this was supposed to illustrate a point. I did see the word jackass flashed when she was looking at this junk. I left a couple quick comments on here. I don't know if I paraphrased that too, how it was developed, if that's how she said it. There we go. It said, you knocked this out in less than 24 hours. So she didn't do a whole lot of research. I said, dig deeper. Granted, it's obvious you're as superficial as they come. I'm just taking stabs, you know. This guy down here said, you know, it was not pronounced that way. Pretty sure he's on the same side of one didn't exist and one did, is what I was referencing. And then I also mentioned that Jew once was spelled, you know, I-O-U essentially, or as it reads, which also translates to Jewish, you know, not just Jew, the truncated version. Here's the account. She's not censored, clearly, because she must know what she's talking about. The two other things I'll throw out here, which I've said
his name
many, many, many times over. A lot of people don't realize that, and what they'll usually say is the King James Bible came from the Geneva Bible. Both of those are from the first translation, the first known translation to me at least, the Tyndale Bible, the T-Y-N-D-L-E, I believe it is, not A-L, I think it's L-E, if memory serves me. And that's relevant because that's the earliest English translation. And remember, the King James Bible is just another muddied down bastard version. The best example is the fact that he altered the word tyrant because he was in fact a tyrant. The other thing that kids of this ilk never fucking look into, and why she was babbling about, you know, the Jesus, the Isis, the horse shit to begin with. Look into the etymology of Jesus, or Isis, or all those other fucking names, Yeshua and all that crap. It's going to lead you to Buddha. And it's going to lead you to Anubis. And it's going to lead you to Mercury, Hermes, Dionysus, Bacchus, and Baphomet. It's hermaphroditic. It's AC/DC. That's why you see depictions of it, flashing the as above, so below, but more specifically the true sign of peace. Above and below. And typically speaking, this thing has tits and a dick. It's also known as the messenger. As such, it can sing to as above and below. It can sing to that AC/DC quality, both sides. I shit you not. That's where it would lead, but people don't research. They do not look into these things. They just rattle off some superficial shit and essentially ride other people's coattails, repeating what the last asshole said, which, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, 10 to 1, it's our master's narratives that these people are thoughtlessly regurgitating. And that's why they're not censored. I mean, in this day and age, if You've got that many people following you. You're clearly shopping around shit our masters want other people to hear. The censorship is out of fucking control. There shouldn't be any at all. But it's a telltale sign. But most people aren't using the brain between their ears to recognize what's what and how reality works and blah, 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 and all the other shit I constantly rattle off. I realize this probably isn't the best presentation. It's because I'm tired of fucking rattling this crap off and really fed up with dealing with people like this. She's probably never going to look into any of this. It's just a waste of my time and energy. But most people are like this, and it's irresponsible that she's rattling off what she is rattling off. Based on how many people are following her is what I was going to spit out. I was looking at some water, thinking about boiling tea, and I probably should get this shit show going. All right, if you hung out with me, thanks for hanging out with me. As always, what the fuck do I know? Take this with a grain of salt and look into it. Don't buy into it. Here's the original post, or our original interaction.
King James.
Let's see, how long is this jazz? 2 minutes? Let's play it.
King James made it mandatory to attend church. He outlawed the Geneva Bible. The original Christians could see that there were changes that were made. The Pilgrims are the ones that ran from King James and came to America. So are you talking about the Pilgrims? There were two groups of people. There were the Puritans, and they were like the Hebrew roots people of today, and they're in bondage, and they're all about following all of those laws.
Feel free to pop into this account and watch this video if you want. I said, both the Geneva and the King James Bibles heavily relied on the Tyndale Bible few people appear to be aware of. And this is what got me going. Her initial response, which says everything. She said, none of those Bibles matter. The only words that matter is what Jesus said. If she only fucking looked into it, which most people don't. I said, appreciate you highlighting that you have no concept of what Isis represents. If you held that much stock in the name you rattled off, the least you could do is spell it without a J. Your assumptions are noted. It's a shame people like this are out there and unwilling to think for themselves. Again, she's not censored, which speaks volumes in a day and an age of patently fascist horseshit. Consider what I said. Take it with a grain of salt, work with it, and it will lead somewhere, unlike the horseshit people are shopping around. But most people aren't going to do that because that requires time and energy, and you would have to think, and thinking is hard. If you start using the Jesus, the Jebus, the Isis, all that other stuff, the Yeshua, fill in the blank, the little Zeus, all that crap. One of the easier ones to figure out in terms of etymology or trying to connect these dots will lead to Buddha. And here's the other bone to throw you because it doesn't come up nearly enough. Bohemian Grove. Most people know about Moloch these days in the truth community. But out of those kids, you don't hear this come up because they're repeating our master's superficial narratives as well. Originally Buddha, a statue of the Isis, the Jesus, that junk. Dionysus, Bacchus, all those names. Baphomet, by all rights, Baphomet. Keep in mind, this is a plump version. But what you're looking at, that's what used to sit in place of where, is it 20 foot, 40 foot? I can't remember how tall Moloch, the statue of the owl, is. Where they do a quote-unquote mock sacrifice, and then butt fuck each other. Do a bunch of bourbon, or a bunch of drugs and what have you. Yeah. It just doesn't come up, but it should. It should, because our masters know things that you're not supposed to. I guarantee it. And if people dug and actually researched, they would know this shit. But most don't. This is Seminar 2. Take a screenshot, have your... Seminar 3. Take a screenshot. This should crack you up. Take a screenshot. You know the drill. Superficial rot you might encounter. Seminar 6. Seminar 6. First time I knocked out one of these videos, total war.
What the fuck do I know?